Good afternoon and welcome to Friday with Fiona. So this week we are using the Abundant Beauty decorative masks. So I just wanted to say hi, also to share with you the amazing joining offer that is on at the moment. I'm just going to flip my camera around. Okay, is that straight? Probably just the angle I've got stuff. Okay, so we're celebrating 35 years of Stamping Up. So they have the most amazing offer. There are details on my page. There's two options. So 35 years, so they're giving you 35% off or 35% more product. So option one is you get £130 worth of product for £64.35. It's incredible. I have never seen an offer this good. And then the offer two is get 35% more product. So the regular starter kit price is £99, and instead of getting 130, you'll get £175.50. Not only that, with both of them, On Stage is virtual this year, and it's Stampin' Up's annual get together, and it's a £77 value for a full day. I think it's a full day, maybe it's a half day, I don't know. Anyway, it's crafting online. You get to see the CEO, there's demonstrations, you get a chance to pre-order new product. You'll get the mini catalogue from January to May, much earlier. January to April, much earlier, and it's costing £77. But when you join in October, you will get that for free. So it really is an incredible offer. So I just wanted to share that with you before we crack on. Right now, the Abundant Beauty masks. So when I first saw them in the catalogue, and I will show you, they're in the mini, on page 47 here. So when I saw them, all I really saw was the sunflowers, and that is going to be the first card we do. And I don't have one to show you in advance because I have used it, but I gave it to a friend for a special birthday. So I know how to use it, and I will share that with you. But the other two cards are going to be using, one's going to be using the snowflakes, and the other one's going to be using the leaves. And there is also like a houndstooth, I think is it a houndstooth pattern, dog tooth pattern, I don't know. Which I haven't used, but I will do an extra card with that and post it next week. And so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 masks basically for £10. Now the paper that I'm using has been retired. It's the shimmery white. You can use watercolor, you can use the regular papers, but if you're going over it with water, it may not like it. So I'm using the shimmery white. It was on the clearance rack recently. I'm not sure if it's still available, but I'm going to use it today anyway. So I'm going to take, so that's the houndstooth, that's the snowflakes, which we're going to use. I love that one. And that's the leaves. And I've done a card with colours I don't normally use because I thought it's autumn leaves, so we'll do that. Now the sunflower is really clever. So you probably can't see, but right here there's a number that says number 1, and there's a notch, and then number 2, and the notch is in the same place, and number 3 and number 4, and the notch is in the same place. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a tiny bit of seal on my grid paper, literally a tiny bit, and I need to remember to rub that off later, so that I can put down my cardstock. Now, is that going to be, no, I'm going to do the bigger bit, and then I'll probably have to trim it later for the to fit on. I can't see what I've done there. It's there. Okay, I'm going to line it up with my grid paper, and then I'm going to pop that down. And what I'm going to do, so that I know when I go to number 2, 3 and 4 where my notch should be, I'm just going to line that up with the top of the paper. Hope my head's not in the way. and just draw that little notch. So that's number 1, and then when I get number 2, I can make sure it's lined up in exactly the same place. I'm going to use blending brushes for this one. For the leaves, I'm going to be using daubers, sponge daubers, and then for the snowflakes, I'm going to be using blending brushes. But you use whatever suits you. You could use basically any media you could use. Okay, so I'm going to pop the first one in place, number 1, which is the actual sunflowers. And I'm just going to pop some tape to hold it in place. Don't forget, this is a class to go. You will need the masks. That's the only thing. I will send you the card bases, and I'm using some glimmer paper, and I will send you all of that. But I can't do I can't send you stamped images, so you have to get the masks yourself. And if you put in an order before midnight on Tuesday, what's the day? 6th, 8th, Tuesday the 10th, you'll get the class kit for free. Right, so I'm doing my sunflowers. So I've got, I'm not sure, lemon lolly might be a bit light. Let's maybe go with I think maybe Daffodil Delights will be bright enough. Okay. No, actually, that's what I did last time. I'm actually going against the grain. I'm going to use fresh freesia. So they're not actually going to be sunflowers. They're kind of going to be something else. I don't know what flower are the colour of freesia, but okay. So I'm inking up my larger of the 2 sizes. So that's my big one, and that's my small one. I'll be using the, I don't know, I've got yellow out. I should have got green out. And I'm just going on the edge, and then I'm going to do my sunflowers. Now, I'm not, if you've followed me for a while, you know, I'm not into messy crafting. I make a mess anyway, but I'm not into kind of like, you know, spritzing and all that sort of stuff. But this is just too beautiful to not share with you. Right, so I think I've got quite a bit of coverage on there. Oh, just a little bit needed here, I think. And the beautiful thing is, both the blending brushes and the masks, you just need to rinse them in cold water. And most of the ink, well, it certainly comes off the masks. Okay, I think that's probably enough of that one. I will need that because I'm going to go over it again, make it a bit darker. What colour should I do the centres? I might do the centres in pink, actually. So I'm just going to lift that. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Okay. Put that to one side. Okay, so now I'm moving on to number 2, which is the leaves. So I'm going to line that up with my little notch. And I've chosen a piece of card that is actually bigger than my mask, because when I did it before, I used a smaller piece and it kind of went all over the place. Right, so now I've got my leaves and I've got Granny Apple Green. And I don't need my yellow, I need my green. Whoops. And I'm going to do blue. I think I might go Pretty Peacock, actually. Right, so there's a bit of fluff on there. So here's the leaves. Now, you could do these all separately and then fussy cut them, which is kind of what I did for my friend's card. But this time I'm just doing it straight onto what I'm going to use on the card. I'll just trim it down when we get to the point of actually making the card base. Now I just want them to be a bit darker at the bottom, so I'm just going to go over the bottom part till it's a bit darker. It's just like inking off when you use a stamp. So one more time, make sure it's noticeably different colour. Okay, so that's my leaves. And let's get that up. I'll just rinse that off later so you can see. Oh, isn't that beautiful? So I want number 3. Yep, number 3. Line that up with my notch again. And this time we're doing the inner ring of the flowers. Now what colour shall I go with there? I know, let's do Pool Party. It's beautiful weather today. I don't know what's going on. I looked at the forecast and next week it's showing it's going to be in the 70s, like low 20s, which for this time of year in England is pretty unheard of. Okay, I've got a gap there. I don't know if that's something on the paper. Oh, I thought I was on Do Not Disturb. I do apologise. There we go. Okay, so that's my inner ring of the flowers with Pool Party. Beautiful. And last but not least, number 4. I'm gonna use Pool Party again, but because it's already on there, it should come out a bit darker. And then we'll see what it looks like. I can always go over it with a darker colour if I need to. Just going to have a look at that and see if it's... The taping down is really important. Okay, it's not dark enough, it's not showing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my I think I've already got Lost Lagoon out somewhere. Yes, let's use Lost Lagoon. That should be a fraction darker, just you can't actually see the ring at the moment. Lovely. Okay, so that will just rinse off under the tap. I'm going to keep that for my next card. Okay, so all I need to do now is I had a card base. There it is. I had a Fresh Freesia card base. Just need to rub my seal off, otherwise everything will stick to it. Okay, so Fresh Freesia, and all I'm going to do is trim that down. Let's just push those to one side. Get my trimmer. So my card base is the regular 21 centimeters by 14 1/8, scored in half at 10.5. So I'm going to cut this down. I'm just going to see how far across it goes. What width is it? Yeah, so right, I'm going to do right to the edge of my leaf there, and then we'll see how far. 10.5. Right, now I'm going to lose some on my leaf. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 10.3, and I don't want to use my sunflower, so I'm going to go to the edge of my sunflower, turn it around and see what we're at there. 10. Yeah, so I'm going to do it at 10. I'm just going to leave a bit of my leaf, that's fine. And then this side needs to be 14.3. So what I did is put my sentiment up there. Okay, and then there's my card base. Well, I think that's personally, I think that's lovely. Okay, so it was relatively quick and straightforward because I have done it straight onto the paper. Obviously you could fussy cut them and layer them and all sorts, but I'm just going to go with the simple option today. The leaves is a little bit more, it's not complicated, it's just that I'm using more colours, so so I need to have my big one at the top, and I've got my fresh freesia around the edge. This was an in colour last year. I'm really glad they carried it over. Not quite straight. Okay, so my sentiment, I'm using on the other cards the season of chic. So you are amazing beyond measure. You make each season of life. Thinking of you, here for you. Let's just do, let's have a look. How big is the thanks? That's quite big actually. Thanks. Okay, so what colour should we do that in? I'm going to stick to green, but I'm going to use Mossy Meadows. It's slightly darker than the one there. And do you know what? I was going to put some gems on, but I don't think I'm going to leave it because I think that would detract from it. So that's card one using the masking. It's lovely. I'm really pleased with that. If you were using plain cards, so I've got some shimmer on this, but you could just go over it with Wink of Stella. And that's lovely. So that's card one. Right, let me just clean my stamp. And I'm going to go out my comfort zone now because these are really not colours that I tend to use. To have a quick swig of tea. Right, okay, so the next one is like an autumnal one, and I'm using Mossy Meadow, Copper Clay and Wild Wheat. And there's also some die cutting on this one. So my card base is Pecan Pie. I really love that colour. This glimmer paper is in the annual catalogue. And what I'm going to do, get my green and my Mossy Meadow. And I did it with the ribbon. I just went over here with a blend. Now I'm not going to risk my blends on here because it's a little bit rough because of the glimmer, but you're only going to see the edge. So that's all I'm going to do is just go around the edge. My Mossy Meadow seems to be a bit, I don't know what's going on there. Leak. I think it might be a bit juicy. So we'll take that end and see if I can. I'm literally just going along the top. Yeah, that's really juicy, that end, so I'm getting much better coverage. Yesterday I think I used the other end, but probably needs a wipe, but that's okay. So, and then turn it round and do the other end. I might need to trim it down. I can't remember if I've cut it to exactly the right size. I might, hopefully I have, because the ink doesn't dry quickly on this glimmer paper. They're 6x6 sheets and they're in the annual catalogue. But especially as we're coming up to the festive season, I think I'll get a lot of use out of them. I'm going to have to try and clean that off with a wipe afterwards, I think, because it's really, I'm glad I've done that end because it really was excessive. So I've managed to hopefully stop it from overflowing. Right, so I can put that to one side. Yeah, I have cut that down, so that's okay. I'll just put that to one side and that will just clean off later. A wet wipe will probably get a lot of this off, but I'll do that later. Yeah, it is really messy, this one. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. I don't want to get it on my card. I'll sort that out later. Okay, now another piece of again, this will need to be trimmed. That's exactly the size of the card, so I will need to trim that down. That is for my stamping of my leaves. That is for my die cutting of my leaves, and then I just heat embossed in copper. Okay, so let's put, hopefully that's not, well, it doesn't matter, it's going to be on one side of the card. Let's pop a little bit of seal and put my card on it. Right, now the mask that I'm using for this one is the leaves. I actually thought it was leaves, but there's actually some acorns, which I discovered. So I'm going to pop that. Doesn't really matter which way around you do it. One side is slightly going off the edge. That's okay. And what did I do with that tape earlier? Here we go. Okay, it's quite important that you have your paper bigger than you need, that you're going to be blending onto. The first time I did it, I cut it down to the size I needed, and then because I had to put masking tape down, I ended up with like a frame. So by doing it slightly bigger, you don't get the frame, and then you can cut it down to the size you need. Now for this one, I'm using sponge daubers. So we've got wild wheat, Mossy Meadow, and copper clay. Right, so I'm going to start with the wild wheat, and what I'm going to do is like half of the leaf, like this big leaf here, I'm just going to do half in wild wheat and the other half in Mossy Meadow, and then go over with copper clay. My acorns, I'm going to do the bottom part will be in wild wheat and the top part in copper clay. Now I'm just dabbing And if that's okay, I've gone over it, but I can go over that with the copper clay later. A little bit on the big side, so I'm just trying to find my acorns. There we go. And they're quite small, these acorns. There's a bigger one there. So that one I've managed to do just the bottom. On the little ones, I'm going to have to go over. I'm sure there's some more. There's another big one there. Little one there. I know as soon as I put wild wheat away, I'm going to need. Okay, so now I'm going to do like half of the, what to me looks like a maple leaf. And I'm kind of doing the left side and then the right side. It's probably easier to dab than to get the brush caught. And I'll do the middle leaf of that. So basically I'm just playing. You can do it, you know, all one colour and then just go over and blend with different colours. Yeah, I think that's the last maple leaf. Okay, so I'm going to do all my wild wheat in one go. Oh, there's another acorn. I thought there was more. Right, okay, so that's my wild wheat done with. Next, I want my mossy meadow. I put that away, didn't I? Here we go. Oh, it is a bright mess. That definitely needs a clean. Okay, so mossy meadow. I'm going to go at the drier end this time. I'm going back to the wet end. I just thought using the sponge dauber, you can be more, not exactly precise, but you can focus on a smaller area, whereas the blending brushes, but actually it's not proving as easy as I thought, but hey ho. And then my third colour is copper clay. I'm waiting for it to change, but looking out of my craft room window, there's a tree on a lawn just down the road. And in the spring, we have the most amazing blossom. Well, they have the most amazing blossoming. And in the autumn, they go, I don't know if it's a maple tree or what it is, but they go the most beautiful colour. And they're just still a little bit on the green side, just starting to go red. Right, I think that might be enough with the mossy meadow. I'm going to start going with the copper clay. That's making my finger hurt. Wild wheat. Oh, copper clay, I've already got it out. There we go. Trying not to get mossy meadow all over my hands. Right. Copper clay. Now I am actually going to go over some of the wild wheat with this, just to kind of mute it down a bit. This is an in colour and it's very juicy, whereas the mossy meadow wasn't, so this is going on much easier. And it looks like a complete mess when you've got the mask down, but once you lift it up, hopefully it will look better. So as I say, these are really not my colours. I'm, I guess, a bright skull and blues and greens. So I know there's greens in there, but they're quite muted. It's not really my colour choice at all. Now, hopefully I've got everything. I think there might be just one there. I just need the copper clay. Right, okay, let's lift it up and then put it to one side to dry. And I will do the stamping and die cutting. How are we doing for time? Card 3 is relatively quick, so no, I don't know if it was my favourite, but you never know. Okay, let's lift that mask up, and there you go. See, that looks a complete mess. That doesn't. So it's really, really clever. That's so wet. I need to put it on. I'm going to rinse those all in a minute. So let's just move that out of the way, and I'm going to move that little bit of. I was going to call it snail then. I'm losing my mind. Can't remember what it's called. Seal. Right, okay, so I've got a piece of white here and I'm going to stamp, that's my ribbon, I'm going to stamp a couple of the leaves and I'm going to do wild wheat and mossy meadow. Actually, I might use this because I didn't find I got very good coverage yesterday. So mossy meadow. Where's my block? There. And the good thing about using, right, that's copper clay, I don't want that. Where's my mossy meadow gone? There it is. You can actually, I'll show you, I'm going to do mossy meadow around the outside. And wild wheat. Nope, that's crushed curry. Copper clay, wild wheat. Down the middle. And then I'll show you, I'll just stamp it and show you what it looks like. That didn't work too well. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, stamp that off. I'm going to stamp it. Let's just turn it over. Stamp it in mossy meadow. And then take my sponge dauber and just go over a bit in wild wheat. And it's going to be die cut. Okay, so that's that one. Now I need to do it in wild wheat. Right, so, and then copper clay, yeah, I will need the mossy meadow. Right, okay. So I need to die cut those, and then rather than using a lot of ink on the glimmer paper, I will die cut them and then use the ink, so that way I'm not risking scratching so much. So that's my glimmer, and also it'll be wet going through. So let's just make some space so I can bring in my, I'm going to need that in a minute, but let's shut it. That is a right mess, that one. Yuck. And it's all over my hands now. Okay, so I don't need that stamp anymore. I will need this sentiment. But the die, so this is the Chic, Season of Chic bundle, and that will cut out those ones. And then this one. Now what I need to do is put some adhesive sheet on the back before we die cut them. It just makes it a bit easier. So tweezers, try not to use that die. And I'm just going to cut these out. And the reason I haven't got like 100% coverage is because a lot of the paper is going to disappear because of the holes in the leaves. I'm just going to cut the right, that's one. There we go. Okay. Amazing those. Right, let's get the mini cut and emboss machine. I'm in the middle of reorganising my desk and craft room. It's the start of the new Stampin' Up year, so it's a good time to do it. But you know, it's like when you start, things get worse before they get better. And I'm really struggling to find space to put things. But I want to try and be less cluttered because I think it makes a better working environment. Okay, let's run these through. Okay, so it's the thin one is going on there. And then this one. Thought I might have moved the leaf, but hopefully not. Come on. The glimmer paper's a little bit thick, so it's a bit harder. Let's see if I've got to run it through again. Yeah, I think I will do actually. So I'm just going to take that one out. Run it through because it's got, so the glimmer paper is already thicker and it's got the adhesive sheet on, so it just makes it a little bit tougher. So I'm going to just run it through and then I'll run the other one through. There we go. Okay, so I've got my two leaves and I just need to run that one through. And what I can try and do is go backwards and through and then back. And hopefully that will be enough. bit of sellotape we used before. Okay, through and back. And hopefully, yeah. Oh, I used the wrong. I thought it didn't fit. I used the wrong leaf. Okay, not to worry. Let's see if I've got enough room to do this leaf. You know what? I'm going to use this one. So it's not exact, but it will serve the purpose. So through and back. There they sit on top of my inks. Right, let's have a look at this one. We'll make it work. So the other good thing about the adhesive sheets is when it's like a filigree die like this one, when you pull the adhesive sheet off, you should pull all the filigree bits off as well. See, it's already trying to do that on this one. So it has got quite a bit out, but there's still a couple of bits. And what I need is the adhesive sheet there, just to right. So one is going to be green. There we go. That can go on top of the wild wheat. I've got no nails. There we go. Okay, so that's one leaf. And then where's my other one? Just going to go over that with copper clay. And put that on top of that one. Whoops. So this is the one that I did with the wrong die, but we're just going to make it work. It's only to kind of come out from the sentiment, so we can make it work. There we go, that looks okay. Let's just get rid of all of this rubbish. Okay, so this should be dry now. Yep, so that's my, and then I need to cut that down. Whoops. So what size do I need to cut that down to? Get my, and that's for the sentiment. Oh, having no nails is a right pain. Right, okay. So this is 13.8 by 9.5. So this needs to be 9. Really autumnal colours, which, as I said, it's just not me. Right, and it was at 13.8, so this needs to be 13.3. Okay, we'll start putting it together, and then I will just have time to do card 3. Okay, so now I'm going to use wet glue because it's glimmer. It doesn't always like even the tear and tape. Sometimes I find it's difficult, but the wet glue is usually okay. Fingers crossed. And then we've got that lovely green shimmer around the edge. And somewhere I've got my pecan pie card base. Now what I did with the ribbon on this one, I just went over the corners. So I need to cut that in half. Get my sellotape. Okay, so I need to line it up so that I do the same on both corners. That's that side, and then this side. Just snip that bit of sellotape off. Okay, and then that's going to go flat on our base. Just want to have that maple leaf in the middle, the right way up, because the bottom corner is going to be covered with the sentiment. Okay, there we go. And then we have our 2 leaves, and they're just going to come out like that. In fact, I might stick them down now. No, I'll do that when I've done the sentiment. So just a very quick bit of embossing. I'm going to use the Thinking of You stamp. And I need my copper and my embossing buddy. Oh, my Versamark might help. I wouldn't normally do it this way, but I'm trying to just save a bit of time. Yeah, I just need to get my brush because I spilled some. Right, so then this is going to go, oh no, I've got to heat emboss. Hang on a sec, get my wonderful tweezers, heat gun. So we can see it changing. There we go, that's done. Okay. So as I said, that's going to go on with some dimensionals. I'm just going to use these little ones because they take forever to go. And I want space to put my leaves, so hopefully I've done it on the right side. And then just down in the bottom corner there like that. And then I'll tuck these under. Now, what I do with these, I'm going to put dimensionals at the top, just a couple. And then a bit of wet glue at the bottom. So you kind of get them at an angle. Like that. And like that. Okay, so there's my autumnal card using the leaves mask, and I have to say I do like it. It's just not my colour scheme, but I have friends who love these colours, so that's great. I can use them to them. So as you can see, completely different to that one. Okay, let's move on to card 3, and I have to say, because it's my what's the one? It's my colours, so it's probably my favourite. Okay, let's get rid of these little backings. And this one didn't take me long at all. And this is using the snowflake mask. Let me just clean that. Oh, they're everywhere, those backings. I think I might need to clean my chamois as well. There's a lot of green in there from the mossy meadow. Okay. So there is a snowflake in here, which I will show you on the original card, but I don't think we've got time to do. So the original card I did in Pool Party, and I'm going to do this one in Lost Lagoon because I wanted to see the difference. And it's also using the Nested Essential dies, and this is just the mask, but then I did die cut using the chic dies. There's a couple of snowflakes in there and they just fitted over, but I won't have time for that, so I'm really just going to show you the masking. Okay, so here's my shimmery white. Where's my snowflake mask? There we go. And I'm going to go back to the blending brush. I think they are easier, but I think for the leaves, it just means you can use different colours. So a bit of seal. Just coming up to the hour, so hopefully won't overrun by too much. And then there we go, we've got the, see, I think I've cut this down in size already. Now I want to get that big one. I think I want to have that big one showing. So I'm going to do that. And you can do it whichever way you want, but I'd like to, because I'm going to have this, I want this big one to be visible. And again, the masking tape is off where my card is, so it shouldn't cause any overflow. And I just need my blue, and I need my Lost Lagoon. Where did I put my Lost Lagoon? There it is. First thing I'm going to do after the video is sort that mossy meadow out, because it is a nightmare. Right, okay. Quite juicy. But it looks like you're putting a lot on, but don't forget there's going to be an awful lot of white space. So I want to make sure I get good coverage on my snowflakes. It is so much easier using a blending brush than the sponge daubers. But as I said, it works when you want to have a variety of colour. If you're doing it all the same colour, this is much, much easier. See how quick that was. Right. That will need to be washed. Let's get this up. That's a lot darker than the Pool Party, but we can compare them at the end. Okay, so lift that up and set my rubber. I saw somebody else do this. It's a really good trick, actually, as long as you remember to remove it. Okay. And then I've got my nested dies, and I just need to stamp my sentiment. Now I've cut the ribbon into two pieces because if I was to wrap it right the way around and tie a knot, it would use an awful lot of ribbon. So I'm using two bits instead. This is the Lost Lagoon. I think it's linen. Lost Lagoon. It just says bordered ribbon, but it kind of looks and feels like linen. So I'm just going to put that through the middle. That's going to be covered up by my I can't even speak today. That's going to be covered up by my sentiment. So I'm just going to get a bit. Try and work out what's halfway. And it is curving a bit, so I'm just going to stick it down with a bit of tear and tape, which I'm not taking the back off. Get another bit. I just get a bit low on my sellotape. I think I need to restock. let's put it on the grid paper and try and line it up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just about. There we go. Okay, and then I've got my Lost Lagoon that's going to go on like that. I'm going to pop this on first with Seal Plus actually, and it's just going to go on flat, no dimensionals, because my greeting is going to go on there. And well, you know, postage has just gone up again. It's ridiculous. The postage is, whoa, getting astronomical. I love my husband shouting up to see if I'm all right. How are we doing for time? Okay. Now, if I just take this backing off, it'll give it a bit of extra. And there we go. I've got my big snowflake at the top there. Right, now on this one I stamped Season's Greetings because I wanted to go right across the middle. Is that from here? No, it must be from one of my Christmas ones. I think it might be Brightest Glow. Yeah, Season's Greetings. So I'm just going to stamp this in Lost Lagoon. I'd love you to leave a comment and tell me which is your favourite card, and also of these two snowflakes one, which do you think is the better, the Lost Lagoon or the Pool Party? And oh gosh, that's dreadful. Right, let me wipe that off. That's another one that's running away. Oh my goodness, I think I'm going to have to clean that before I can stamp. Yeah, a bit overly juicy. I'm just going to be careful this time. Yeah. Season's Greetings. So don't forget, if you spend £27 in my online store, I will send you the die cuts, the cardstock, the ribbon, everything that you need to make this. Oh, and I see what I did. Okay, so I put my under there. Let's pop some glue on that. And then dimensionals on the next bit. And then the dimensionals will go over the ribbon and hold it in place. I'm just going to use a strip of this, or a couple of strips. Right, and then let's pop that on there. And I've got my ribbon already done. I just need a glue dot for that. And last but not least, some bling. Where is my bling? Underneath the mask. Okay, so I'm just going to use white. I used blue on the pool party one, but I'm just going to use white in here. So these are adhesive backed glitter sequins, and they are lovely. Big one and a little one. Right, so card 3, pool party, Lost Lagoon. Then we've got the leaves, which is wild wheat, mossy meadow, and copper clay. And then the sunflower, well, they're not sunflowers, but they're fresh freesia and pretty peacock and granny apple green. So I'd love to hear which is your favourite. Thanks very much for watching. Also, if you watch the replay, you can tag me. Starting next Friday, I'm going to be doing 4 weeks of Christmas, and I'm not specifying which sets, just because there is a bit of an inventory problem at the moment. And also there's some new kits coming out, so I'm hoping to have those in time to do the last one. But I'll be using the Merriest Trees, the Stars at Night, Perched in a Tree, which goes with the Aspen Trees dies for definite. But I'm not sure what order they'll be in. But thanks for watching, and have a lovely weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.